You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good morning, it's October the 30th, and welcome to Psychedelics Cannabis Educational News. Last time I'm going to be able to say that this year.
It is. It is. When we return on Monday, it'll be November.
No, it'll be November. That's right, exactly.
Do you have any catchy, matchy things for November pot-wise?
I can't think of one right now, but I'm sure I'll be looking. That's right. Yeah, it's October 30th. Tomorrow is trick or treat. The kids will be out knocking on the doors and looking.
Oh, that's right. It's also trick or treat day. Tomorrow is Blue Jays, hosting Game 6 day. Possibly take it all.
That's right. We want to make things as scary as we can for the LA Dodgers, don't we?
We sure do.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. Last night, Blue Jays big win. Game 5 in LA, and with the rookie on the mound, like this guy, he started out in A ball this year.
Yeah, like he was on a farm team, like little Mr. Unknown,
big time.
We all know him now.
Everybody knows who he is now. He set a couple records last night. He struck out 12. No walks. That's a record for anybody, never mind a rookie. And then on the rookie end of thing, all the strikeouts. It's just, unreal.
Yeah, amazing for a 22-year-old kid.
Yeah. I don't know what you were doing at 22, but I sure wasn't thinking about Game 5.
Nope. I wasn't getting ready to win the pennant, and that's for sure.
No, that's
like
right.
Holy cannoli. So yeah, I know in Toronto, a lot of people that have tickets to the game or want to watch the game right across Canada, people are going to get their kids out early and then get home so they can watch that game. And I don't blame them. I'll have it on here, while I'm serving the kids. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's exciting and it's good to see. No doubt.
It is. It's amazing to see. It's good for everybody. You may be wondering what this has to do with cannabis and psychedelics, but the country coming together in a community to watch this game and support this game is all about what we talk about.
Well, as you mentioned, there are watch parties. They're going on in Toronto while the game is playing in LA.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
They are getting like close to 30,000 people to sit there and watch the big screen. And the cannabis community were sending out signals. We'll meet you for the pregame at Gate 6.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of the community that had tickets to be there last night.
Yeah, I got an email.
Timmy and Mary Jane were there. He had tickets, so we were represented, which is just really, really cool. Great game, great community, people of all political parties, all walks of life, all religions, all everything are coming together and cheering together and forming community together. And that is what it's all about.
Yeah. And Blue Jays are Canada's one and only really Major League Baseball team, and they're a Canada's team.
They are.
Yep. Go Jays, go.
Yeah. Go Jays, go.
One more win. That's all we need. One more win. All we need. All right. We should get on with the news. Here we go. First story of the day, and it's not baseball.
Yeah, it's coming to us from StratCan. BC resuming cannabis operations following tentative end to strike.
As of Monday, October the 27th, BC is resuming its cannabis operations following a tentative agreement between the provincial government and the BC General Employees Union. Now, the BCGEU announced on Sunday, October 26th, that it had reached a tentative agreement with the provincial government, ending 8 weeks of job action involving 25,000 public service workers across British Columbia.
Wow, the LDB's Richmond Distribution Center has now resumed operations as of October 27th and will be working overtime, including weekends, in an effort to manage high volumes and delivery orders to customers as quickly as possible. It will first focus on fulfilling and shipping customer orders that were received before September 22nd. Retailers can submit new orders on October 27th. Orders will be picked and shipped according to customer order cutoff deadlines. RDC is resuming operations today and is working overtime, including weekends, in an effort to manage high volumes and delivery orders to customers as quickly as possible. I think they got me to read that twice.
And maybe. Now, representative of the BC Liquor Distribution Branch tells Stratcan that the agency is already scheduling appointments to receive new product with a goal of ensuring a balanced approach between product receiving, assembly, and shipment of customers' orders. It goes on to say that wholesale customers should expect weekly deliveries following their order cutoff deadlines, although we ask that customers remain flexible as we work through the higher than normal order volume, which may cause delays, according to Robin Fraser. He's the director of corporate communications and stakeholder relations, corporate services with the LDB, said in an email. We greatly appreciate the continued patience and understanding of our customers, as it will take time for our operation and service levels to return to normal. We are working closely with our carriers to allocate additional resources to support our resumption of operations. And they say, note that orders that are already picked and assembled prior to the closure of RDC on September 22nd have already been shipped today.
Pardon me. The strike, which began on September 2nd, expanded to include BCLDB's cannabis warehouse on Monday, September 22nd, effectively shutting down the province's central cannabis distribution system. The approximately 500 private cannabis retailers in BC were then forced to rely on their backstock or to get new shipments through the province's direct delivery program over the past 5 weeks.
Yeah, on October the 3rd, the union expanded its job action to include several of the provincial managed BC cannabis stores, and by October the 8th, it had expanded it to all 40 locations. Now, on October the 17th, the LBD announced it was granting a temporary suspension of its reporting requirements for its direct delivery program for the remainder of the strike that affected the LDB cannabis wholesale operations. The province has also halted online consumer sales through the BC Cannabis Store on September the 22nd, noting that all orders placed on September the 18th will be canceled. As of October the 27th, online consumer orders are still closed. A representative from the LDB tells Stratcan that online ordering via the BCCS online portal will reopen as soon as resources allow.
All picket lines are now reportedly down, with employees returning to work. The BC LDB now says it is resuming its cannabis operations of Monday. Employees at the 40 BC cannabis stores will also be returning to work. The LDB Cannabis Operations has developed restart plans and will work closely with our carriers to allocate additional resources for an expected resumption of operations. But the timing for a return to normal service levels would depend on the volume of orders received as operations resume. This is noted by the BC Cannabis Wholesale website. We appreciate your continued patience and flexibility as we work to restore services as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they haven't received new shipments of cannabis from the producers in BC or across Canada, nor has it been sending them to retailers in the province for 5 weeks. The strike's impact was not just limited to cannabis. BC's central warehousing and delivery of alcohol were also disrupted, as well as numerous government ministries and agencies the union had been seeking to address wage demands, representing 34,000 public service workers. It was seeking a 2-year deal with a 4% raise in the first year and another 4.2% in the second year, The tentative deal that was announced on October the 26th includes a 3% annual raise for 4 years, along with additional targeted pay adjustments for the lowest paid workers in the public service. The union says more details will be shared in the coming days.
Hmm.
There you go. Strike is basically sounds like the strike's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for the love, Carolyn. And
Hey, Carolyn.
Yeah, I'll turn the comments on. That way they'll show up on the screen. There you go. Okay. That story is done, and it's time for us to move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just got to find it. You know how that is. Sometimes they're not
I do.
in order. All right, here we go. It's up.
Yeah, coming to us from the University of Utah. Psilocybin shows promise for healthcare worker depression.
Yes. Frontline healthcare workers struggling with depression after COVID-19 pandemic experienced significant relief from a treatment combining psilocybin group therapy with mindfulness training, according to a randomized clinical trial conducted by Huntsman Mental Health Institute at University of Utah Health. Physicians and nurses who received this controlled therapy, which included ingesting psilocybin, during an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program, saw far greater improvements than those who only learned mindfulness techniques. Now, published in the PLS Medicine and NIH-supported study included 25 Utah healthcare workers who worked directly with COVID patients and were battling both depression and burnout. A select group of healthcare workers were randomized to receive a single dose of psilocybin in a controlled clinical setting, along with 8 weeks of mindfulness training, while the other half completed the mindfulness training alone. For those who were treated with the combination therapy, the group's depression scores dropped by more than twice as much as the medicated-only group, in addition to feeling less emotionally exhausted and more connected to themselves and others.
Depression and burnout have long been serious problems for healthcare workers, said lead author Benjamin Lewis, associate professor of psychiatry at the University of Utah. When the pandemic only worsened these effects, we felt it was crucial to try something different to understand how we can help this group of individuals who are dedicated to helping others. Previous studies have shown that mindfulness training can help reduce depression and burnout, and there is a growing interest as to whether the use of psychedelics such as psilocybin could enhance these benefits. The U trial was designed to explore whether adding group-based psilocybin-assisted therapy to mindfulness training improves participants' mental health compared to mindfulness training alone.
Steady participants enrolled in the program between January of 2023 and January of 2024, while performing frontline healthcare work during the COVID pandemic's third year. Nearly half of the healthcare workers who received psilocybin alongside mindfulness techniques were free of depression at 2 weeks, compared to just 8% who only learned mindfulness practices. The study showed significant sustained improvements in symptoms, with a 25 milligram dose of psilocybin administered at week 6 of the meditation course.
Yeah, most psilocybin studies are expensive and hard to scale up as they use 2 therapists per patient with individual sessions. This study delivered treatment in groups instead, creating an easier path towards scaling and a more accessible option for healthcare workers looking for relief. The findings are preliminary and should be interpreted with caution, given the small sample size and the specialized setting of the pilot study. The researchers concluded that their data support further investigation of psilocybin-assisted therapy as a potential mental health intervention in high-stress professions, although larger trials are needed to establish efficacy, generalizability, and durability of these effects.
Yeah, the study was published in September, on September the 19th, in the PLOS Medicine under the title Psilocybin-Assisted Group Psychotherapy and Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction for Frontline Healthcare Provider COVID-19 Related Depression and Burnout, a randomized controlled trial. Now, funding was provided by a grant from the Hefter Research Institute, along with support from the National Center for Research Sources and the National Center for Advanced Transitional Sciences, both part of the National Institute of Health. So there
Wow.
you go. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting, because I know that, the nurses, they work 12-hour shifts. Some of them have to work overtime on top of that. And yeah, I could see where, and that was just around the COVID end of things, just daily would be, it is stressful for nurses and that. So, all righty, we will move on to the next story. And there it is. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Coming to us from Cannabis Health, medical cannabis and psychiatry, from neurodiversity to mental health.
Many patients in the UK are now taking medical cannabis for a number of different psychiatric conditions. Data collected through Drug Science T21 patient recovery or patient registry over the last few years shows that after chronic pain, anxiety is actually the second most common indication for which cannabis-based medicines are prescribed. Other mental health conditions such as post-traumatic stress, depression, substance use disorder, and insomnia follow closely behind, alongside neurodiverse conditions such as autism spectrum disorder and ADHD.
However, the use of medical cannabis in psychiatry and the potential risks in this patient population remains one of the most debated areas of current research and practice. And it's important to note that this treatment won't be suitable for everyone, such as those with a previous history of serious psychiatric conditions, such as psychosis or schizophrenia. In what is thought to be the largest data set of its kind, Canadian researchers surveyed over 7,000 patients authorized to access medical cannabis products. According to their findings published in 2022 in the journal Psychiatry Research, patients with symptoms of anxiety and or depression reported sustained improvements following the use of cannabis.
The same year, a pilot study in Australia found that young people with treatment-resistant anxiety had an average 42.5% reduction in severity and impairment following 12 weeks of treatment with CBD. Now, researchers at Washington State University also analyzed data from hundreds of people who recorded their symptoms before and after cannabis consumption using the tracking app StrainPrint. Their findings showed that in people who self-reported as having PDS, cannabis reduced the severity of intrusive thoughts by about 62%, flashbacks by 51%, irritability by 67%, and anxiety by 57%. A follow-up study reported that users with OCD reported that cannabis reduced their compulsions by 60%, intrusions or unwanted thoughts by 49%, and anxiety by 52%. Wow.
In the UK as well, real-world data has previously revealed that the vast majority of patients report improvement in their anxiety or depression symptoms after 3 months of medical cannabis treatment. When it comes to clinical trials, studies are generally small and limited in number, but a few have indicated promising potential.
Yeah, results from a phase 2 clinical trial published in 2022 found CBD to be effective for symptom reduction in patients with anxiety with few side effects. Meanwhile, in one of the first human clinical trials on the cannabinoid CBG, it demonstrated efficacy in reducing anxiety and stress when compared to placebo. Small trials of THC-based medicines in Tourette syndrome have reported reductions in tic frequency and severity, while early work in post-traumatic stress suggests cannabinoids may ease trauma-related nightmares.
Wow. Clinical research in OCD, ADHD, and autism remain preliminary. Several trials in children and adolescents have tested CBD-rich formulations, with some studies reporting improvements in clinician-rated disruptive behavior, social interaction, and sleep. Interestingly, among the most encouraging findings so far come from research on schizophrenia, where several randomized control trials of CBD have shown modest but meaningful benefits when used alongside existing antipsychotic medications.
Now, speaking to Cannabis Health previously, Dr. Singh, a consultant for psychiatrists, specializing in neurodevelopment and psychiatry, commented, "For many people, medicinal cannabis can offer a great opportunity to improve executive functioning, attention, concentration, as well as emotional regulation, alongside reducing anxiety and sleep problems, which are very common in people with neurodevelopmental conditions, as well as in those with other psychiatric conditions. Medicinal cannabis can be effective where there are very few existing treatment options." Super. Yes.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Very
It's always
interesting.
nice when you get those reports. Yeah, exactly. All right. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got one more story before we go to break.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's been a spend a lot of money month by the looks of it. But yeah, here we go. Last
Here
story
we
before
go.
we go to break.
Yeah, coming to us from the International Cannabis Business Conference, Canada sold $500 million worth of legal cannabis in August. 1
This
month.
is August. Yeah. Canada's government released new sales data for the nation's emerging legal cannabis industry. According to Statistics Canada, the nation's licensed cannabis retailers sold nearly $500 million worth of legal cannabis products in August. Now it says that Statistics Canada released August retail sales for the country, with cannabis sales increasing from the July levels, up 1.4% to $498.7 million. This subsequent growth was also up on a per-day basis due to the same number of days as the prior month, reported the New Cannabis Ventures About Canada's sales data.
In 2024, total sales increased 4.5% to $5.39 billion, and they are up 4.5% so far in 2025. The outlet also reported Ontario's legal cannabis market led the way, with retail outlets selling over 197 million worth of products in August. So almost 1/5 a billion there, just in Ontario. Below is a table of historical sales via Statistics Canada. Holy no.
Look at them all.
Yeah.
There's all the numbers on the screen. Yeah.
Canada remains the top legal national cannabis market on the planet, and a glowing example of how countries should approach cannabis public policy and industry regulation. Canada became the second country to adopt national adult use cannabis legalization in 2018, and the first G7 nation to implement the public policy change.
A report published earlier this year found that in 2024, Canada's legal cannabis industry contributed more than $16 billion to the national GDP and generated roughly $29 billion in total economic output. Canada's legal cannabis industry direct GDP contribution in 2024 was more than that of the forestry and logging sector, which had $3.4 billion, breweries at $2.6 billion, and wineries and distilleries at $975 million. The report also found that Canada's legal cannabis industry supported over 227,000 jobs across the country in 2024.
Wow.
A lot of jobs, a lot of numbers, big numbers, eh?
Yep.
All righty. That's the first 4 stories of the day. We got 4 more stories to come up after the break. And just so you know, you're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. We'll be back. We will be back in about 2.5 minutes. Talk to you then.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. daily deals. Check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. We got 4 more stories to cover, Rev Cindy. So let's get at her. Here we go.
Coming to us from StratCan, cannabis legalization drives significant decline in Canadian drug crime.
Canada has seen a decline in drug crime over the past decade, with much of that decline attributed to the legalization of cannabis in 2018. New figures from Statistics Canada show that after reaching a historic peak in 2011, police-reported drug crime has generally declined, driven in recent years by a decrease in cannabis offenses.
The rate of drug crime in Canada in 2024 was 31% lower than in 2019, the first full year of data following legalization of non-medical cannabis. As anticipated, the legalization of non-medical cannabis has led to a significant shift in police-reported drug crime, which was historically dominated by cannabis offenses, especially those related to cannabis possession.
Yeah, my understanding alone, well, I think there's going to be some, maybe some numbers here, but I can remember Dana Larson posting a thing on Twitter about 60,000 people that didn't get criminal charges for possession that first year. Numbers. Although cannabis-related arrests were already declining annually for several years before legalization in 2018, those rates predictably dropped significantly in 2019. Highlighting the shift in 2014, there were nearly 70,000 cannabis offenses in Canada, accounting for 2/3, 66% of all drug crime. 10 years later, cannabis offenses accounted for just 17% of all drug crime. That's a 50% reduction right there.
Yeah. While cannabis offenses are still a factor in Canada's overall reported crime rate, the focus has now shifted to issues relating to the illicit cannabis industry rather than personal offenses. In 2024, for example, the majority of cannabis offenses under the Cannabis Act were most related to importation and exportation, 66% of them, while just 13% were related to possession, 7 to distribution, 7 to sale, 3 to production, 4 to other cannabis-related crimes. There were just 22 cannabis offenses per 100,000 population in 2024. This is down, holy shit, this is down 89% from 194 offenses in 2014. Sorry for all the swearing, but that's 89%.
Yeah, exactly. Now, however, there's always a but, right? However, following 12 consecutive years of decline, the rate of police-reported drug crime increased 13% from 2023 to 2024. The The year-over-year increase since 2023 was the result of more incidents of most types of drug crime, which was led by cannabis with 2,272 more incidents, followed by cocaine and non-heroin opioids offenses. Yeah. Now, despite this increase in police-reported drug crime from 2023 to 2024, the long-term trend continues to decline, although these declines were largely attributed to cannabis legalization. Statistics Canada also notes that the rate of cocaine offenses was 23% lower in 2024 than it was in 2014. The rate for non-heroin opioid offenses peaked in 2021, and by 2024, the rate declined to 13 incidents over 100,000, and in 2021, it was 16 incidents. So,
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Drug crime and all that is down since cannabis legalization, and basically at 90% for the one. So, gotta give a shout out to JJ. Thanks for the thumbs up, much appreciated. All right, we'll move on to the next story as we just fly right through here. We may be done really early today. Okay, here we go.
There we go. Coming to us from Onco Daily, psychedelics and cancer care.
Sorry, I closed off the wrong story, but go ahead. You go ahead. You can talk about it.
We were talking about this possibly happening.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. You bring it up. You have controls, right?
Yes, I will. Just let me click a couple buttons and I'll bring it up.
Okay. All right.
Do. Here we go. Clicking. I used to produce too,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Coming to us from Onco Daily, psychedelics and cancer care, a new frontier in healing. Are you able to see
that? I got it. At the Society of Integrated Ecology 2025 annual meeting, one of the most talked about plenary sessions explored psychedelics and cancer care, bringing together leading experts from Yale, Harvard, and international research institutions, moderated by Dr. Miriam Leberg of Yale Cancer Center and Dr. Linda Carlson. The session examined how psychedelic-assisted therapy could transform the management of psychological, spiritual, and physical suffering in cancer patients. Cancer is described by Dr.
Oh, that's me, right? My apologies.
Yes, that's you. I can't read that fast.
Go ahead.
Cancer, as described by Dr. Anna Yusum of Yale University, is an existential earthquake, beyond pain and physical symptoms. Patients often experience anxiety, demoralization, and loss of meaning. Psychedelics, she explained, offers a unique dual action pathway, acting biologically on serotonin signaling and inflammation, while simultaneously addressing existential and spiritual distress.
Yeah, I'm sitting here having a good giggle at myself. Early studies from Johns Hopkins and NYU have shown that a single psilocybin-assisted session can lead to rapid and sustained reductions in anxiety and depression among patients with life-threatening cancers. In some cohorts, over 60% achieved full remission of depression symptoms, with effects lasting 6 months or longer. Patients frequently describe their psychedelic experiences as among the most meaningful of their lives, often reporting new feelings of peace, forgiveness, and connection. Dr. Yvonne from Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Harvard Medical School presented a comprehensive review of clinical trials, noting that between 2011 and 2024, more than 10 modern studies have evaluated psilocybin, MDMA, and related compounds for depression, anxiety, and existential distress in cancer patients.
Most trials demonstrate both safety and feasibility, including those in patients undergoing active chemotherapy. The emerging data have been strong enough that 2023 JAMA Psychiatry Guidelines formally mentioned psychedelics as a potential in treating cancer-related depression and demonstration, marking historic milestones for integrative oncology. Now, Dr. Bosant highlighted the first group-based psilocybin study in cancer patients with major depression disorder. 80% of patients showed significant improvement, and over half reached remission within 8 weeks. Group settings were found to enhance safety, connection, and emotional openness, suggesting a feasible model for clinical integration. 80%.
Yeah.
Another big number.
Yeah. Yeah. So significant improvement, and over half reached remission with 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched either of the Dose movies, documentaries that were made here in Canada.
No, not yet.
Dose 2 is really about this. They follow a lady who's she's got anxiety over she's fighting her cancer. She's got an end of life, diagnosis that's been given to her.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie, they treat her with psilocybin to help that anxiety about end of life, help her family with her end of life. They also start treating her with FICO. And so this was years ago they made this movie, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The lady had less than a year to live at that point in time. She's still alive. And they attribute it to helping her calmly face her diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So now the fear isn't in her feeding the cancer. And the RSO or FICO, of course, went in there and did its job as well. And the lady's still alive.
Wow.
It's really cool. Yeah. It's good documentary to learn a bunch of stuff too.
Yes.
Another feasibility trial at Dana-Farber tested psilocybin in patients with terminal cancer and demoralization syndrome, supported by a multidisciplinary team of palliative physicians, chaplains, and music therapists. Despite several symptom burden, participants achieved a 50% reduction in demoralization within 3 weeks, and both patients and families described profound emotional healing. The final plenary talk of Professor Vitality Napadro of Harvard Medical School delved into the neurobiological mechanisms underlying psychedelic therapy, focusing on therapeutic alliance, the empathetic connection between patient and clinician.
Using hyper.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
There we go. Using hyperscanning, hero imaging, his team simultaneously recorded brain activity in both therapists and patient during treatment. They discovered synchronized activation in regions associated with empathy and social connection, particularly the TPJ, let's just call that, collaborating with greater pain relief and emotional resilience. Now, Professor Napado's upcoming FDA-approved MDMA study will further test whether strengthening this brain-to-brain synchrony can amplify clinical benefits in patients with chronic and cancer-related pain. He emphasized that psychedelics should be viewed not merely as drugs, but as tools to deepen human connection and enhance the art of medicine.
Sing it. Panelists agreed that psychedelics are not anti-cancer agents. They do not shrink tumors or extend survival. Instead, their promise lies in alleviating suffering, restoring agency, and redefining meaning in the face of mortality. The therapy structure, comprising preparation, dosing, and integration, requires trained facilitators, careful screening, and ethical oversight. Future research will focus on optimizing protocols, ensuring accessibility, and exploring group-based and telehealth models for scalability implementation. As Dr. Bosant summarized, these substances help patients reconnect to themselves, to others, and to life, even as they confront death.
The SIO planetary concluded that with a unifying message, psychedelics bridge the biological, psychological, and spiritual dimensions of cancer care. As data mature, oncologists may soon integrate psychedelic-assisted therapy alongside conventional palliative and psycho-oncological approaches, not as an alternative, but as an enhancement of holistic healing. The speakers collectively called for larger, randomized controlled trials to validate efficacy, establish safety, and guide clinical practice. For now, this growing body of research signals a paradigm shift, moving from the management of disease to the restoration of wholeness.
Beautiful.
Yeah, nice. Right, quality of life, as I said, it may not kill off the cancer, but it's obviously going to improve the
It's going
quality
to
of life.
improve quality of life. It's going to
Yeah.
improve mindset. Mindset can help the medicines
Mhm.
shrink the cancer. They can. I mean, that's been proven a gajillion times. You combine this. I mean, I don't care what psychedelic they're taking you in to help you find your peace, but combine that therapy, the right therapy for the patient, and fighting it with FICO and a healthy diet and gut health. You have a better chance at actually fighting that than you do without the spiritual and mental health work.
Because some people, when they're diagnosed with cancer, they
Give up.
just go downhill
Yep.
because of
Yeah,
that
so
diagnosis. Some people look at it as a death sentence, right?
yeah, and that mind over matter is so
Mhm.
important. And that's where psychedelics come in. So do they physically themselves go in and shrink? Maybe not, but man, oh man, they give us the tools to help our mind go in and shrink them. And that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
powerful stuff.
Powerful
All
stuff.
righty, let's get on to that next story.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Here we go. We are heading to Leafy. Lebanon legalizes medical cannabis cultivation.
Lebanon has officially legalized cannabis cultivation for medical and pharmaceutical purposes, with authorities establishing a dedicated regulatory body to manage domestic and international sales into a move expected to generate approximately $1 billion annually for the state treasurer. The Cannabis Cultivation Management Committee has begun operations under legislation which was passed by the Lebanese parliament in 2020. The move marks a significant shift from decades of crackdowns against illegal cannabis farmers in the country's agricultural regions.
Cannabis crops cover around 450 hectares in the foothills of Hermel in West Lebanon. Thousands of farmers in this region, many previously considered fugitives by the government for drug trafficking, have continued cultivating the plant clandestinely, citing economic necessity. The government provides no alternative crops and has failed to implement any development plans in the area, leaving cannabis cultivation and its sale to drug dealers as the only means of feeding their families. And the farmers have, told reporters this from Al Jazeera.
Yep. The committee head, Danny Fidel, recently toured farming regions to assure growers that the new regulatory framework will provide legitimate sales channels. He pledged that the body would ensure mechanisms for selling their harvest to pharmaceutical manufacturers domestically and abroad to global market prices instead of relying on drug traffickers. It is hoped that the move will have significant financial implications for Lebanon, which has been grappling with severe financial crisis. International consulting firm McKinsey estimates that the legal cannabis industry could contribute $1 billion annually to the economy, suggesting revenues could help to revive stalled development projects.
Cannabis cultivation in Lebanon has declined in recent years due to a crackdown on growers and raids on facilities. However, farmers have persisted with the crop, arguing it requires lower investment costs compared to traditional alternatives such as apple cultivation. A 2019 report in the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates that Lebanon was the third largest producer of cannabis resin products such as hashish. We all love Lebanese hashish, behind Moroccan and Afghanistan. Morocco also legalized the cultivation and processing of cannabis for medicinal and industrial use in 2021.
It'll be interesting to see how they try to integrate the farmers into the new system.
Yes.
Will it be a pile of paperwork, all that stuff that, they may not understand, or it just becomes too much of a burden? because it looks like they want to try to bring those people in. But it'd be interesting to see how they're going to do it. So, all right. Last story of the day. And this one's easy to find because it is the last story of the day. Here we go.
Here we go. Coming to us from MSN. Warren police urge parents to inspect their Halloween candy. We had to have one of these stories today after finding products containing THC and psilocybin. Not at my house, they won't.
Yes. Yeah. As Halloween approaches, the Warren Police Department is urging parents, guardians, and community members to take extra cautious about investigators uncovering candy and snack products that look completely normal, but were actually laced with THC and psilocybin. Police say the discovery was made on Thursday, October the 23rd, during a search warrant at a Warren residence as part of an ongoing investigation. Detectives found bags of chips, candy, and other snacks that appeared to be standard name brand items. However, closer inspection revealed that many of them contained THC and psychoactive compound in cannabis, while others were infused with psilocybin, which comes from magic mushroom.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you they weren't looking at giving these out.
I'm thinking of an adult party is what I'm thinking.
Adult party, starting your own little dispensary. Like, I mean, there's so many other things than Halloween, right? The packaging, investigators say, was nearly identical to popular treats found in stores, designed to fool even the most careful eye. Warren Police Commissioner Eric Hawkins says the products were intentionally marked to mimic recognizable brands, making them especially dangerous for children during the Halloween season. And I agree. There's a lot of companies that have done that, and they've done that for marketing reasons, trying to get people to buy them. But I really don't think they're marketing them for Halloween. And
not directly towards kids. There's all kinds of markets, right? So
yeah.
Where were we? Go ahead.
Warren Police Commissioner Eric Hawkins says the products, just a second. We're grateful to have removed these items before they could fall into the hands of children. This serves as an important reminder for families to carefully inspect all Halloween treats and to prioritize safety this season, Hawkins said in a statement.
We're grateful to have removed these items before they could fall into the hands of children. This serves as an important reminder for families to carefully inspect all Halloween treats and to prioritize safety this season. Because the packaging closely resembles legitimate products, even adults could have trouble distinguishing between safe treats and drug-laced items.
Yeah, the department is stressing that this is not a widespread issue in Warren, but the discovery highlights a real risk as trick-or-treating begins this week. Parents are urged to inspect all candy, throw out anything unwrapped or suspicious, and report anything unusual to the police. The goal. It just says the goal. Residents who have concern about Halloween safety, they can contact the Warren Police, or in any area that you are, if you think that somebody is doing something unsafe to your kids' candy. I remember when I was a kid too, the big thing was people sticking pins in them.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah, even in apples, putting pins in apples too.
So there's all kinds of stuff to watch out for.
And, being that we're involved in the cannabis community and that we know that there are markets that are held, underground markets that are held for people to go to, and they have vendors and all that. That situation in Warren could have been that type of.
And that's what went through my mind. Yeah. Somebody's getting prepared for a Halloween marketplace, right? As somebody who goes to these Halloween marketplace with the THCs and the psilocybins, and in my Oreos or in my potato chips, that's what we're looking for. But we're not looking to buy it to give it away. It's not cheap. It's really not cheap. When you're going after these specific type products, it's not cheap. And I'm not going to go spending that kind of money to give it away to children.
No, exactly. And then unfortunately, there will be those incidents where, Johnny grabs the candy off the counter, not thinking that it was, the wrong stuff.
So, you really do need to be careful about that stuff, and you need to watch it. But I can say that 99.99999% of people are not out there to give away their medicine or their recreational, choice.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else before we shut things down?
If you are in Nova Scotia tonight, head on down to the Halifax Library in downtown Halifax to the BMO room and catch our first speaker series, or our first speech of the speaker series here in Nova Scotia. The majority of my board members will be there, and we have an amazing speaker coming to us from the Holos group of doctors here in Nova Scotia who help people with their preparation and integration from psychedelic therapy. It's going to be an amazing talk. One of the doctors, his name is escaping me, my apologies, is standing up and speaking tonight, and it's sure to be an interesting conversation. And I will be, as the day goes on, sharing the link if you want to join live.
I was going to get to that. I was waiting to get done to let everybody know that you will be posting a link. So it is streaming online. So everybody will be able to watch it.
Yeah, should be a good show.
It should be. All right. That's our report for today. Thanks to our buzz at the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, and At-Eze.ca. In closing, as always, we'd like to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you all Monday, because Monday's not a holiday. We'll see you on Monday. Don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.